Bryshere Gray, a name that once held promise in the entertainment world, is now at the center of a controversial and deeply troubling story. Once a rising star in Hollywood, Bryshere's career and personal life have spiraled into chaos, leading many to question the dark side of the industry and the figures who may have used him for their own gain. What started as a promising acting career quickly descended into scandal and degradation, with allegations of manipulation, exploitation, and abuse at the hands of some of the industry's most influential figures. Bryshere Gray's troubles seem to have started after he allegedly became involved with music moguls Sean "Diddy" Combs and Will Smith. The claim, as some sources suggest, is that Bryshere was introduced to these figures as part of a so-called mentorship program. However, this mentorship allegedly had a much darker purpose: to exploit Bryshere sexually. According to claims by Jaguar Wright, a singer and outspoken critic of the entertainment industry, Bryshere's mother, Andrea Mayberry, played a pivotal role in his exploitation. Wright suggests that Andrea sold her son to Diddy and Will Smith when Bryshere was just 17 years old in exchange for financial benefits. Wright's accusations paint a grim picture of what may have been going on behind the scenes in the Hollywood industry. She alleges that Bryshere was groomed and manipulated into participating in inappropriate activities with these men, and his career in Hollywood was largely controlled by them. She goes so far as to claim that Bryshere's manager, Charlie Mack, was complicit in this arrangement, working with Diddy and Will Smith to exploit Bryshere for his own financial gain. The first signs of Bryshere's downfall became visible when he began to make headlines for his increasingly explicit behavior on social media platforms like OnlyFans. Initially, Bryshere started by teasing his audience with suggestive photos, and eventually he began to post explicit content. This drastic shift in his online persona shocked many who remembered him as a promising actor with a bright future in Hollywood. As the days passed, Bryshere's videos grew more provocative, and his collaborations with other adult content creators raised questions about his mental state and the reasons behind his drastic change in behavior. The speculation around his sexual orientation intensified when Bryshere started collaborating with popular transgender women and gay content creators. His involvement with trans women, followed by explicit collaborations with gay adult film stars, led many to believe that Bryshere might have been struggling with his own identity or perhaps being coerced into these acts. The nature of these videos, particularly the scenes where Bryshere appeared to be engaging in sexual activities with other men, was met with widespread shock and criticism. To some, it seemed as though Bryshere had been forced into this lifestyle by the very people who once controlled his career. Jaguar Wright, in her continued accusations, suggests that this transformation in Bryshere's life could be the result of years of trauma and manipulation. She claims that Will and Diddy used their power to control and sexually exploit young men in Hollywood, and Bryshere was one of their victims. According to Wright, the entire entertainment industry played a role in turning Bryshere into a pawn for the amusement of the rich and powerful. She even went as far as to reveal that there were multiple instances where young men, including Bryshere, allegedly fled from the homes of these moguls, scared for their lives, and desperate to escape the abuse they were subjected to. One of the most shocking allegations involves an alleged incident where Bryshere and rapper Meek Mill reportedly ran out of Will's house, screaming for help after being subjected to inappropriate activities. Wright claims that these events were not isolated incidents, but part of a much larger pattern of exploitation orchestrated by figures like Diddy and Will Smith. She believes that Bryshere's involvement in this lifestyle was not by choice, but by force, and the damage done to him was profound. The situation became even more tragic when Bryshere's personal life took a turn for the worse. In 2020, Brasher found himself involved in a violent incident with his wife, who later sought help at a nearby gas station, claiming that Brasher had strangled her and caused her to lose consciousness. The police were eventually called to the scene, and a standoff ensued as Brasher refused to surrender. After hours of negotiations, he was finally arrested. This incident, combined with Brasher's increasingly erratic behavior, led many to believe that his mental state was deteriorating due to the trauma he had experienced. As the news of Brasher's arrest spread, people began to piece together the pattern of abuse he had allegedly suffered in the industry. His once promising career seemed to have been destroyed by those who had used him, and now he was living in a motel, struggling to make ends meet. Reports suggested that he had turned to OnlyFans in an attempt to support himself, but the videos he posted painted a disturbing picture of a man who had seemingly given up on any sense of dignity or self-respect. His content grew increasingly explicit, with him engaging in acts that many considered to be a result of manipulation rather than free will. In addition to the allegations against Will and Diddy, there were also rumors about a possible lawsuit that Brasher was preparing to file against the two moguls. According to some sources, Brasher was allegedly seeking $50 million in damages for the abuse he had endured. While this lawsuit had not been officially confirmed, the speculation only added to the growing belief that Brasher had been deeply hurt by the actions of those in power. However, many also questioned whether Brasher would be able to win such a lawsuit, especially given the way he had been portrayed in the media and on social platforms. Jaguar Wright continued to speak out about the situation, claiming that the entertainment industry had done everything in its power to destroy Brasher's reputation. According to Wright, those in power had orchestrated his downfall to ensure that he would never be taken seriously if he came forward with his accusations. The idea was to make him appear mentally unstable so that any legal action he took would be dismissed. She even went as far as to claim that there was a secret tape involving Brasher, Justin Bieber, Will Smith, Diddy, and Jaden Smith, in which these individuals were allegedly involved in sexual activities together. Wright suggested that the existence of this tape was meant to further discredit Brasher if he ever sought justice for what had been done to him. Throughout all of this, Brasher's mother, Andrea Mayberry, has faced intense criticism for her role in her son's life. According to Wright, Andrea allowed her son to be exploited for financial gain, and she was more concerned with making money than protecting her child. This accusation, if true, paints a devastating portrait of a mother who may have sacrificed her son's well-being for the promise of wealth and fame. Wright even claims that Andrea regretted her actions later on, but by then it was too late to undo the damage that had been done. The allegations against Will and Diddy, along with the details of Brasher's troubled past, raise serious questions about the dark side of the entertainment industry. It's a side that many are unaware of, where young stars are often manipulated and exploited for the benefit of the powerful. Bryshere Gray's story is just one of many that highlights the harsh realities of Hollywood, where fame and fortune can come at a very steep price. As for Brasher, his story is far from over. Whether or not he will come forward with a lawsuit against Diddy and Will Smith remains to be seen, but the damage to his reputation and mental health is undeniable. Many are left wondering how many other young stars have been subjected to similar treatment behind closed doors, and what can be done to prevent this kind of exploitation from continuing. Bryshere Gray's fall from grace is a cautionary tale of the dangers of fame and the price some are willing to pay to get ahead in an industry where power, money, and control often outweigh morality and decency. In the end, the tragedy of Bryshere Gray is one that highlights the darker side of the entertainment world and the lengths some will go to exploit young talent. It's a story of broken dreams, manipulation, and the search for redemption in a world that often seems indifferent to the suffering of those caught in its web. Whether Brasher will find a way out of this darkness remains to be seen, but one thing is certain, his story is far from over, and it will likely continue to unfold in ways that many never expected.